What's going on, my broskiis? My name is Toadski, back again, here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video, and today we're having a look at my own personal teams up against this treasure map versus Sakazuki. Well, it's really like against Fujitora and Greenbull, but either way, I'll show you guys my teams, and my teams are somewhat similar to the preparation video that we did make a couple of days ago. However, obviously some units are going to be, you know, a little bit more added, a little bit more points, of course, because I do have a little bit more units than you know, the typical player, I would say. So we're going to jump into this one. Of course, my main focus, at least for the Battle Rush bosses, is to focus on speed. You know, get through these bosses as fast as possible so I can beat the Intrusion boss and the final boss as fast as possible, because the more you beat those, the more points you will get. I feel like most people should go down that route of, you know, beating the Battle Rush bosses as fast as possible, because they just don't really net you that many points. I just don't think it's that big of a deal. So let's go ahead and jump into this one. First one, of course, is up against Tashigi. In this boss, of course, it's a little bit of a weird one. What they really want you to do is they want you to use the Christmas Legend Uta. Of course, not many people are going to have that unit, but that character does enable you to remove the chain attack down that is inflicted on this stage. So what we're doing here is we are having Hiyori on the team to give us a full board of Wano slots, and then we have Cat Viper with his super type special. We can wave clear the first two stages. When we reach the last stage, the support on Dogstorm will trigger, which is the 1.3 times color affinity to our strength units. We would activate the special of Cat Viper, which gives us an orb boost. Special ability of Dog gives us an attack boost to strength units. This guy, Katakuri, the only reason he's here is because he gives a self-proccing delayed conditional boost, has a very low cooldown, so he should be ready to go. And then this can give you a bigger color affinity boost later on, so you could like drop the support on Dogstorm and just use Stussy, but of course we want to get through it faster. So in the first early stages, I'm probably not even going to use the special ability of Katakuri. I may just use the special ability of Dog or the Cat in order to give me a big boost. Now, you are going to get a chain attack down, but it's if your chain goes above 2.0. So what I would suggest is when you're attacking, just attack with your 3 strength units first. So they're not going to have a high chain multiplier, but they're not going to be affected by the chain attack down. So that's what I would suggest for this fight versus Tashigi. Moving on to our second boss versus Kurouma. This guy is actually kind of annoying, but with the suggested unit of Sanji and Pudding, they deal with like a lot of the really annoying gimmicks with the ton of turns of Rainbow Shield and Damage Threshold. So that's the main reason why we are doing that. And the other thing is they also put up a damage reduction effect, which is important because when you kill Kurouma, he does do a death hit, and that allows you to tank that hit. Now, another thing that's important for this team is the Monkey D. Luffy. Luffy, with the support of Rayleigh, will remove all the paralysis and all of the special bind that you are inflicted with on this stage. You are also going to get the top and bottom row slots into Rainbow, which gives you more damage, of course. Luffy, I believe, does provide an attack boost or an orb boost, whatever it is. Sanji and Pudding give a color affinity boost. We have Koala and Carrot and Wanda, just because they're high boosted units that are decks that work under Sanji, Pudding, Captain. We have Carrot and Wanda, which can actually give an orb boost, so technically we can get like all the buffs required. The Brook is here because he can double special wave clear the first 2 stages, making it a very, very fast clear. When we reach the last stage, we have to use Luffy, we have to use Sanji, Pudding, but then from that point onwards, like, we don't have to use Carrot and Wanda special if we don't want to, but it should be a pretty fast clear, I think. Definitely not the fastest team I think you can build for this. I think you can probably make it a bit more efficient if you end up running, like, you could potentially run the Cat Viper, like, team for, like, this one, for example, as long as you have, like, a special bind and paralysis remover, probably would be faster than just removing the defensive effects, but, you know, it is what it is. I think this team's not too bad because it does have decent speed and has pretty decent points as well. So on the third boss versus Hina, this is a bit of an interesting one. So we're going to use Nami Karina for this one with double Nami Karina. Obviously, one is Nami, one is Karina. And we are going to wave clear the first 2 stages with our Vista. He's a very, very good unit. He is a powerhouse unit, so he does receive cooldown for this fight. So double special wave clear with Vista, which is great. And then when we reach the last stage, we can just switch with both of our captains, use both of their specials, and that's basically all you need. Because we do have this support on Odin. Now, the reason why I chose Odin is because it needs to be a Sai Slasher to have this specific support of Otoko. This Otoko, if you don't know what it does, when you reach the final stage, it removes 1 turn of Threshold, 1 turn of Despair, 1 turn of Attack Down. It's very, very good support. And the main reason for that is because when you reach the final stage, there's 7 turns of Attack Down and 7 turns of Threshold. So this one support enables that Threshold and Attack Down to go down to 6 turns, which Nami and Karina with their specials will be able to remove the further 6 turns of that. So it actually works out quite well. Nami Karina gives us an attack boost and an orb boost. You don't specifically have to run this Odin showed him, but the main reason why I did is because he has the potential ability of the limit special use resistance. You are inflicted with limit special uses. However, you know, looking back at it, I'm only really using 2 specials on the final stage anyway, and the special use limit only allows you to use 2 specials of both Nami and Karina. So I don't think it's really required, as long as it is a Sai slasher so that Otoko can be put on that unit. That's really nice. Obviously, if you don't have Otoko, that last unit would have to be a unit that helps you get around Despair and attack down. But on that, should be a pretty fast clear, I think. And also we get a couple of extra drops considering we use Nami Karina as our captain. And having a look at our next one, which is versus Kizaru Borsalino. This is probably the most annoying of the bosses because, as we know, the final Battle Rush boss typically has the most amount of HP. So we've got Zoro to allow us to wave clear the first couple of stages, and then we are using Gear 5 Luffy, which enables us to not worry about the Rainbow Shield. We do have 12 turns of defense to deal with, which is why we use Jinbei. Jinbei is one of the units we can use to trigger Luffy's EX Super, but Jinbei also has a special that sets enemies' defense to 0. We do have the support of Sakazuki on him, which gives a 1.5 times attack boost to our strength units. We have the support of Kuma on Zoro, which when we reach the final stage gives a 1.5 times color affinity boost, so that's pretty solid. And then we do have Kobe on the team. The main reason why Kobe is here is because Kobe can grant an orb boost, which is pretty good, so we don't even have to use Luffy special at all, so the Brûlé support is not really required for this team. But this enables us to get an orb boost for fighters. So Jinbei will get like the orb boost from Kobe. He'll have the attack boost from the support. He'll have the color affinity from the support. The whole point of this is to make Jinbei do as much damage as possible. And I guess technically we want Zoro to do as much damage as well. Probably not the most optimal team for this, but another reason why Kobe is here is because Kizaru puts up a territory buff. And by using Kobe, we can basically disable the opponent's territory buff. You could technically put the free-to-play Akainu onto this team, and he does have the ability to also inflict a territory. That's another way that you could get around it. And then we have Nami and Carrot here because they're a unit that can trigger Luffy's EX Super, and another reason is because they have the potential ability of Hunger. And I clicked the wrong button there, but the Hunger is important because you need to remove 3 stacks of it. This is a unit that can remove up to 3 stacks of it at level 5. Very, very annoying that they have that. So obviously another way around that is to generate a full board of recovery slots, and then you can consume those recovery slots during your tap timings. But yeah, I'm not 100% like solid and like 100% like sold that this team is going to be good in the long haul. But at the end of the day, I'm only just looking to get all the point rewards anyway. I'm not really looking at doing the high value ranking anyways. So I think for the purposes of what my goal is in this treasure map, I think this will suffice. Okay, so now we get into the final boss, which is versus the Fujitora and Ryokyugyu. And for this boss, we're using a relatively similar team that I suggested in my preparation video. Of course, I didn't pull any of the boosters. I did like a couple of discounts, but nothing too crazy, of course, really came up. So we're going to be using the strategy of using Crocodile as our captain with the ship of the Moby Dick. What this enables us to do is it means that as soon as we start the adventure, Crocodile's EX Super or his Super type, whatever it is going to be activated. You do need to be at 50% or below HP, or have one of the units on your team, where it's like a, you know, one of the Baroque Works or a Robin or whatever it is. Actually, I think, does Luffy count for this? I can't remember. Let me just double check for this, because if that is the case, then yeah, Monkey D. Luffy does count for this. Okay, so technically speaking, you do not need to use Moby Dick. So that actually is kind of nice. We can get a little bit of EXP. I completely forgot that Luffy does count for that. So that's pretty cool. So you don't really need to do that at all. So his EX Super will be ready as soon as you start the adventure. And the main reason why that's important is because when we reach stage 2, we want to use his super type, or super class, should I say. And what it will do is it will set his special use to 1. And then when you activate Crocodile's special, it gives you 3 turns of a very good chain boundary, which is what we're going to do to bypass the enemy's chain attack down that gets inflicted on this stage. It's very, very important that we are able to do that. The support of Mr. 1 on him removes 4 turns of paralysis. We have Raizo and Izo Okiku, which can also remove a total of an additional 4 turns of paralysis. So 8 turns of paralysis just via the support on this team, which is absolutely cracked. We have Whitebeard and Ace to remove the 8 turns of attack down on this stage as well. If you were lucky enough to pull the super evolution of the waifus, Hancock, Nami, and Robin, that character bypasses basically everything on this stage, but of course, you know, the character is paywalled, which is really annoying. We do have the support of Shiryu on Sabo, which enables us to remove the poison that's inflicted on this stage, and then by proxy removing the poison slots, which is great. And then we can just basically kill. So Croc Super, Croc Special, you can use Whitebeard Special, and then you just kill pretty much. When we reach the final stage, This is where we're going to be using like a bunch of the EX supers and stuff, so we need to use like Sabo's EX, we use his special, remove the special bind, Morley super, whatever it is, and then we can use Orochi, which removes the threshold. Luffy gives us a well, he doesn't really give us a conditional boost, he gives us the increased damage taken on the opponent, which gives us quite a lot of additional damage, and I don't think this is going to be too hard with this team. This team should carry pretty hard throughout this entire event, and of course, yeah, we're going to be using Morley as a friend captain. That's no real surprise, but I guess I should mention it just in case if people were wondering what friend captain we use for this team. Okay, and now we have a look at the Intrusion battle boss versus Akainu, and I guess I should mention at the start of this, the friend captain is going to be Morley and Karasu, like no real surprise there, but I should mention it just in case if people were wondering. So with this team, we're using Sanji Pudding as our main captain here, a little bit of a weird choice, but remember that when we reach stage 2, one of the characters in our middle row will be switched into the captain position. So in our case, it will be either Luffy or it will be Sabo. For us, it doesn't really matter who it is. We will still perform the same actions. So on stage 2, Sabo EX Super, Sabo Special. Then we can use Morley Super and Morley Special, and then we just kill. So we're using Sabo and Morley, both of their supers and specials in that same turn on stage 2, and then we kill. We don't really need to use anything else. When we reach the final stage, we're going to use, so if Luffy ends up being the captain, we can use his EX Super because we'll have like abilities activated. I believe we'll be able to use it. Yeah, we will definitely be able to use it. And if you can use it, you should definitely do it. But if Sabo ends up being the captain, obviously you can't use Luffy's EX Super, so it's not the end of the world. But when we reach the final stage, use the Luffy EX if you can. We're going to use Luffy's special ability, Sanji's special ability, Whitebeard's special ability, and kill. It's pretty simple. Like, it's pretty straightforward. If you have the units, it's nothing too crazy. We do have the support of Brûlé on Luffy, so when we reach the final stage, we get a full board of matching slots because our slots are changed into block when we reach the final stage. There is going to be Territory, which is going to be removed. There's going to be Rainbow Shield, which Sanji and Pudding deal with. There is 6 turns of burn, but it's not the end of the world. Like, the burn is not going to be, like, the reason why we lose. We can just avoid it. It doesn't really matter. We can just basically ignore it. And that's basically it. None of the characters in our team activated a slot changing special, so we don't have to worry about the interrupts or anything like that. It's a pretty efficient team, I think. Gets the job done, decent point, so I think this is what I'll be using in this treasure map to get all my point rewards in this event, and we'll see how we go. And of course, if there are any changes, I'm going to be doing like a playthrough video when the TM does go live, and if there are any changes or any misconceptions or anything that we didn't really realize at the time, those will be changed and talked about in that video. But that is pretty much it for my own teams for this upcoming treasure map. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, make sure to go ahead and leave a like, and I'm wishing you guys the best of luck in your upcoming treasure map versus Sakazuki, Greenbull, Fujitora, whoever it may be. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to go ahead and leave a like, and if you want to stay up to date with all the content that I post, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. And that, guys, I'll see you guys within the next video.